Hi, this is Josh from Federal Signal Tech Support, and today we are going to set up a park pattern. So let's say you're in slide switch 3 and you want, when you go into park, a slower flash pattern. So when you're in drive, you have that pursuit pattern or something very fast to get your attention, but when you're at park, you want something slow. And today I'm going to show you a potential way to make that happen. So let's get started. So first things first, we're gonna set up our flash pattern, how we normally do so let's go to slide switch 3, and then we're gonna do this on an FS join light bar as a demonstration. So what we could do, we could just turn on legacy mode, because what legacy mode does is it'll give you a whole bunch of basic options rather than programming each head individually. So more often than not, a lot of people have pursuit on slide switch 3. And as you can see, if you click the start preview button, it's a little fast, which is fine if you're trying to get someone's attention, especially when you're in pursuit, when in drive. Of course, that'll get someone's attention. But let's say if you're in park, you want something like slowed down, because obviously you don't want to be too much of a distraction when you're in park. So what we need to do if you want a slower park pattern is right click slide switch 3 and then create feature. Notice that this changed and then this got renamed to slide switch 3 clone. So what we just did is made a clone of slide switch 3. So what a clone is basically it's slide switch 3, but it's cloned. So that way, if you have like dependencies that need to be met, it'll basically meet those dependencies if you have them set. So for example, if we go to our properties icon on the top right, we have our button properties and button dependencies. So what I'm going to rename this slide switch 3 park. That way it's easier to identify. Now if we go to our button dependencies, I would just, add that. Have park is on for slide switch 3 park. So to go back to that clone we just made, we just right click slide switch 3, and then now you see slide switch 3 and then slide switch 3 park. We need to edit slide switch 3 park, so we need to hover over it and click edit. And once that is done, we could now program our cloned slide switch 3. So let's do something slower. In this example, I'm going to use like ping pong. Obviously, it's a lot slower than our pursuit pattern. Now, last but not least, go to system on the top, and then priority settings. Always make sure ignition is in the number 1 spot. Have park at number 2. And then slide switch 3 park above slide switch 3. So that way, when it does override, it'll override to slide switch 3 park. And that is pretty much it. So we have a very fast pattern on the regular slide switch 3, which is pursuit. And if you go to slide switch 3 park, you have something slower, like so. Now let's say you have OBD and you're not using the traditional park wire. So I'm going to add a vehicle. I'll just use the 2020 Ford Police Interceptor. That's fine. Click continue. So now we have CAN inputs. So if you have a CAN input for park, So if we go to our clone again, all we have to do is change our dependency by going to that clone slide switch 3, and then just change it to park kill, or however transmission range is park. Pretty much functions the same way, but only difference is you're using OBD instead of the regular gray park wire. So that is how you set up a park pattern. Now, what you just learned, we normally want to use it on slide switch 1, 2, or 3, especially slide switch 3. So that is how you set up a park pattern. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to call our tech support line at 1-800-433-9132, option 1. And until next time, see you later.